discuss what is occurring in some of our jails and some of our prisons with 287G, or in some cases what some agencies may be doing in what they call the street sweeps. The fact of the matter is that that program was created in 1996 under the Clinton administration. At that time, it was important for us in law enforcement to be able to identify the violent offenders, those that had committed serious violent offenses or were already career criminals, habitual offenders, and to be able to not only bring them to justice, but to ensure within our system that we held them accountable, even if they were in this country without documentation. Created in 1996, the first contract was not signed until 2002. Since 2002, in this nation, there are only 74 agencies that have actually signed official contracts with ICE or the Department of Homeland Security. The question truly has been about the law enforcement voice and whether or not it had been heard. And I have to tell you, I have to confess to you, from the law enforcement perspective, unfortunately, I think we had to remain quiet. But I think we spoke as well with our inaction. You need to know that in this country there are over 18,200 state, municipal, and county law enforcement agencies. And so out of 18,200 plus, you only have 74 that have actually signed contracts. Most of those are in the county or city jail facilities or penal institutions. They are not the folks out there that are doing street sweeps. There has been a huge amount of fear in the immigrant communities across this country. And I have to tell you that on behalf of the law enforcement community and the chiefs across this country, we do not want anyone to be afraid of calling the police. And it is precisely for that reason why we have also stood up now and said, you know what, that there has been a miscommunication that has taken place. Most of us are not doing that. In fact, if you're a victim or a witness, we want you to step forward. It is for the safety and the security of our communities. It is for the safety and security of our nation. As the congressman has indicated, people are really coming from all four corners of the world, and they're not just coming through Mexico. They are using the waters and the ports and the airplanes and Canadian borders and everywhere else. But if we truly are going to secure the borders, then we need to do it comprehensively, intelligently, not just by striking fear in people. And so we want to make sure that people understand that as law enforcement communities, recognizing we have done a tremendous job in community policing over the years, and we do not want to see that go to waste, that we need that. Law enforcement has historically said the community is our eyes and ears. We cannot provide public safety for our community if we have a big chunk of them being afraid of us. And so if people are out there being victims and witnesses and they're afraid to come forward, then the entire community suffers. And through that, where some people may be able to tell you of a terrorist activity that may take place, by the way, not always for foreign people. We have a lot of, we as a country, we create our own coups. And so where we have folks out there that have the ability to identify who some of these people are, we want them to come forward, regardless of their status. It is for the safety of their community, and our country. And so with that, it's a very important message that most of law enforcement across this country is calling truly to the President and to Congress. Let's do comprehensive immigration reform. We recognize the necessity for us to secure our borders. We also recognize that the federal agencies that have the responsibility for doing their job need to be funded appropriately and then be held accountable to make sure that they do their job. But the state and local law enforcement, who has the principal responsibility for providing public safety at the neighborhood, street level, community level, city level, that we be allowed to do that without being put in between a rock and a hard place in enforcing policies that we really have very little expertise on, and which, if we do, then divide communities. We're not into division, we're into uniting communities, because through that we make safer communities and we make a safer